adjustment as the circle will come in just a few seconds, but very interesting to see how things have swung. Obviously, we were just looking at the points. You've seen Gen G down at the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Now, MVP were at the bottom of the table. One win can switch it all around. They just had a great big win.
Yeah, we've actually seen a number of teams during the course of the qualifier stage get one win and skyrocket up. Na'Vi or one Teemo, even though they didn't, unfortunately, advance fully, they were still the one that had one of the teams that had a huge skyrocket at some point. And so we've only 3 games down out of 20. We can still continue to see that. And Gen G, on that note, they started off poorly in the qualifier stage as well. So I definitely wouldn't count them out. They're one of the teams that we've seen being able to adapt very, very well.
Well, Vitality was the team we just focused on. Obviously, we heard from Yannick talking about how the team, the wild card that is Jazza, I think that's a safe estimation of Jazza in person. And the Shadow, the serious one, definitely, no doubt about it, hit the nail on the head with these guys. Over in Picado, of course, well, it's Team Liquid territory. Nobody decided to challenge them out this time around. We have seen teams trying it in the past, of course, and Gen G at the bottom of the table. Obviously, this is, Gen G that just finished in second place in the first group stage and looked phenomenal, really. We should, while harping on the points, we are only 4 games in out of 20.
Well, 3. This is only the beginning of the 4th. And also, another thing on that note is that if I remember correctly, Gen G also got most of their points on Erangel as well.
Yeah.
So Miramar, out of the 2, has already been established as their weaker map so far. And so they're probably going to be looking to gain most of their points on day 2 and 4 anyway.
Some changes I've noticed, actually. OGN going way up into the north to Campo Militar. This is the first team we've seen venture up that way. We did see Ghost obviously going up there game 1. Not quite as far as Campo Militar.
Yeah.
They went to Tierra Bronca. My pronunciation is always going to be terrible. Porto Paraíso. I'm going to get that one out there eventually because obviously I was... lots of people got really tilted by the pronunciation of Porto Paraíso that I was using. In, Paraíso. But here
now, can you roll your R's? That's the real test.
No,
okay.
not at all. My pronunciation is just in generally terrible. If anything, try me German, it's really bad. Really, really bad.
So I do want to touch on this first circle a little bit. We did have a central circle earlier today on game number 2. This one's following suit on the western side. The Knights. Last time we saw a circle like this, the Knights actually had an absolutely awful game. Just because with how far spread out they are when they're loot, it's easy for teams who come rotating in to catch 1 or 2 of them completely off guard. And Knights are one of the teams so far that have had an up and down day. But speaking of someone getting caught out, Method also on a spread loot position. 2 members of FaZe rolling right up.
Yeah, this is. I'm not really sure exactly how this has been working out for Method. Oh, Rafi. He's like, okay.
You lost your moment.
He heard both of them. That's the thing. He heard the 2 vehicles pulling up, so he knows there's 2. Is he going to nick one of the vehicles and get out of there? That would be very sneaky, but he's going to hide in the box. I love it.
I don't know if Fuzzface heard his footsteps when he was running back around that corner and just looking at where Fuzzface is running around. So. It's unlikely. Very unlikely.
Remember, his teammate's nearby as well, so he's probably thinking if he hears anything, it's possibly his teammate. And obviously, Gemty jumps out there.
So that's a big risk. Pora mentioned this on the desk. Method have, instead of choosing one place to loot up, and on Miramar, there are a number of spots that you can choose to go to if your first place is no longer available to you. Instead of doing that, they just have everyone spread across the entire map. Looks like Rafi is actually pulling completely away from that position, still out in the open in the center of the circle, which is always a risk. But upside is that if he's found out, the rest of his teammates are elsewhere and aren't going to get nicked immediately.
And it's working for them. That's the weird thing,
That's
right?
True. They are first.
They are at the top of the table. It's working for them. They are obviously able to reel it in at the right time. Rafi just not going to go for the shot. No reason to. Can just back away from it. Could have gone for the car steal. I think maybe style points if he'd have gone for that. Because FaZe are actually abandoning the cars there. They are going up the hill. This is kind of a standard thing for them in and around this position because they know the Knights are up on that power grid.
Yeah, the Knights actually not too far away, but the Knights are grouping up before. Too many people are rotated in. It seems like they learned their lesson from that game previously this week. Tempo also rotating around. Can't tell if they're actually leaving into the circle from El Azahar. I think they might be. Pretty early timing for them as well. Actually, early-ish timing for a lot of these teams, especially Gen G. They routinely come into circles at least on Erangel, but on Miramar a little bit as well. Very, very late, but they're leaving around the same time that everyone else is.
I mean, you think of the playing path, they were probably the first to touch down in
True.
Impala, right?
Yeah.
So I guess they've felt they've maybe got enough or picked it clean either way. And you can see everybody just starting to get the way going. Hetra coming out of Valdemar up the ridge coastline and getting into the circle. Maybe going to pull up south or west of Commissera. I don't know whether they're going to go too deep. Actually, I'm looking at Valia. Valia's kind of fairly central. There he is. So that you can see Rafi actually made it into the compound. So I wonder if all of Method are going to maybe join him here. Molman is heading this direction. So possibly, as I see FaZe pulling up next to him, it's Gustav, the new man. Is he going to be staying with FaZe? Who knows? Keep your eyes on the prize to see what's going to happen. He's parking that vehicle up. He plans to stay here. The rest of FaZe are going to be coming here. So Rafi, who's already escaped once from a FaZe grasp, is going to have FaZe pulling up properly. He's parking that car properly. He's planning on staying.
I think other members of FaZe are actually caught in a fight with the Knights, or a little bit of a poke battle just north of this. So I don't know how much help is going to be able to arrive if Rafi does get a sneaky little down. Mixie did join up, so at least it's going to be a 2v1. But look, Fuzzface, they're actually scouting out ahead, and they're spotting out Optic. The rest of those players are going to be rotating up from the south and joining up with Valiate. But look at Rafi, just the poltergeist upstairs.
They're trading meds. They feel safe. They've not obviously scouted out. Chris looks like he has been picked off, but FaZe
not as lucky as Rafi.
Trading meds. They've gone for the 2-2, and they're feeling comfortable in this position. And then, like you say, they're not going looking for Rafi. They're just looting at the moment. I wonder if anyone's actually going to check that upstairs, because Gustav was already in the building.
Yeah.
So Mex's arrived thinking it's safe, it's clean. He's already checked the compound, and they're not even looking.
No, he's just peeking outside. His attention is all on Optic right now. Everyone else rolling up, but look at Molman also surrounded this time by Optic. I think he's actually taking a little bit of engagement because Hypoc is running forward. Bahawaka looks like he wants to stop on the high ground to get an angle on him, but oh, Rafi, constantly playing with danger, never wants to take the shot.
Gustav's up there as well now. He's come upstairs. It's just his attention's not been drawn that way. He's going to get such a surprise. Molman does go down. That's Method losing 2 early on. Gustav's in the room with him now, is he? No, he's out the other front room. Okay. And oh my God, 80 as well. That is Method. Now Rafi is the last man standing suddenly in sharing the house with FaZe. Has he paid rent? We don't know.
Method had such a huge lead coming into this game, but just because the split loot was in dead center of the circle, every single player gets called out one by one by seemingly an entire other team of 4. It's only Rafi who's been able to slip away from duos. Still not discovered yet. Gustav still hasn't checked that corner. I think Rafi's snug in there, but who also gets taken out, it's going to be Christus from OGN, also caught out in rotation by Tempo Storm. Zampa grabbing those 7 points.
Yeah, taking a deep south swing there. Obviously, they were up in Campo Militar. The rest of his team are going a more northerly route from him, so he was kind of caught out on that rotate. It's where Tempo Storm sort of started out. Cloud9 nearby as well, getting drawn into the shots here. Welcome to South George, or welcome to San Martin, as it is in Miramar. Got themselves a decent position. Liquid didn't leave Picardo. That's actually unusual. Obviously, the circle kind of went towards them, but normally they would take a hillside position.
Actually, Vitality's coming in on Picardo. Scoom lands a number of shots. Yannick down very low. Scoom taking some return fire, though. I believe that's from up the way by Jazz and the rest of the teammates. That does give Yannick an opportunity to heal up. And I think Liquid, 2 of them stayed in Picardo, but 2 of them left and split off. There is Jeems coming back to give the support.
Bit of bailing out the car a little too early for the Ghost guys. Jabroni's going to be set upstairs thinking, oh no, oh no. Screenshots it, screenshots it. Keep screenshots going.
He was just praising their rotations too.
Well, here they go. They've managed to get Turtle back up and they've left him with his buggy. So that's, okay, so if he's got a vehicle, he actually got ran over by Balok.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. You know, if these are little inner team fights, they happen.
Yeah, there's 2 sides to every story. We don't want to say anything until we know the full details.
Absolutely. Stab, he's kind of positioned away from his team here. Cloud9 did try and get themselves a spot. SKS onto Sung Yang. He's actually had to bail out. That's a good catch. He's managed to catch him again. There's somebody else getting shots to the side. I don't know whether that's Tempo Storm, but now he's without a vehicle. Any little tap, Tempo Storm are going to get involved in this as well. Stab, though, he's got just about as much cover, but nowhere to go. And the Blues on their back.
Yeah, Yeah, this is the problem with having this rotation by OGN is just not working out for them. They already lost one. The heal up from Mira is given an opportunity to retreat, but he may have to leave his teammate out to dry. You can see the shot still coming in from Stab onto that direction. So I think Seongjong is, I don't know what to do. And with this next circle shift on their back, this has just gone from bad to worse for OGN. Not terribly well for the two other teams, Tempo Storm and C9 on the north, but OGN specifically.
So 4 AM obviously on a long rotate there. And now Rafi, the last man, does catch Gustav out. So they've just rotated away from the compound. He knew it was safe, and he knew that his teammate Mexi's not going to return to save Gustav, and Gustav will go down. So Rafi's still the single sole man. Full method takes down one of the members of FaZe. And let's talk about the circle shift, because that's a deep south circle shift. That's going to cause a lot of problems for rotation for all the teams around the north of it.
FaZe just lost a second, this time to Optic. Mixi, after just leaving his teammate, Gustav, tried to go more central, but now FaZe lost too. FaZe really struggling, even with their new roster swap. Hypox pushing forward to go finalize that kill and keep this spot for his team.
Nice aggressive play from Optic as well. You can't see it on the screen, but Gemty was coming to try and save Mexi there, but instead they just simply lit up his car, forced him away. There he is in the distance trying to get away from this one, and now FaZe find themselves in a really awkward position. But with Fuzzface now also solo, gets in the bike. Is he going to get out in time? Siege is coming in the back door. He's going to go out the side door. Siege will certainly get a shot or two onto him. Will he be able to catch him? Should be able to escape this one, but where's he going to go? He's got Rafi just to the south of him who might light him up. MVP continuing to try and blaze the trail as he blasts away towards Montenuvo, and FaZe are going to have to go for a full-on 1-1 split, opposite directions. Meanwhile, Mira gets Stab down. Stab was the one that was obviously trading a lot of shots. Cloud9 and OGN continuing to trade blows way north outside the current circle.
Actually still a team fight up there. Mira gets taken down by Moody. So C9 definitely taking a huge advantage even after just now losing Stab. I think OGN are now at one player. It's just Yak. Already retreating from this engagement, but still down to one so early is definitely not a good start.
Day one adjustments for the Korean teams. It seems a bit of a struggle early on here. Jeems in the Wookiee suit. Obviously not ideal, but it means he's got some tier 3 armor in there. Somebody's ringing, boys. Somebody's ringing. It wasn't me. It's not us. Somebody somewhere is ringing. Well, who's going to answer? Mark 14. I'll take that. Military vest, level 3 and helmet. Very nice. Don't mind if you do. Gen G, of course, who did push in early on, are likely to get themselves that crate. There's nobody anywhere else near it. Ghost, perhaps. So no, I don't think they'd push for it.
They wouldn't push for it, but it is out in an open field. And on Miramar, there's always that question in the back of your mind of, is someone on that hill with an 8X or even a 4X? Like, it's still really risky, so I could see Gen G potentially going for it in this early in the game especially, but it's still never as safe. It's never as assured as it could be on other maps.
So far, you can see all members of Method Bar in Rafi are out. The last man, MVP, they're getting lit up. Optic are trying to take a lot of fights here. They've actually split out. They did have 2-2. They've now spread a little further south, giving themselves as much cover as they can without going into Commissera, where the circle has swung. And actually, a Vanguard taking that first high ground position in Commissera, which is fairly central. A very good position if the circle were to go that way, because it gives them a massive 360 arc.
I am really worried for Optic right now. They're taking a wide spread. It's basically an entire belt of solos. But they're coming up against MVP, and we know MVP as one of the teams, along with other Asians, to be just bomb in on places. And it's actually going to be Gemty who's the one in trouble right now, emulating Rafi, who took out one of his teammates previously, it looks like. So MVP, they're not going to be going in on Optic just yet, but Gemty could be helping out Optic here as well. Takes the shot, gets a nice down, also wants to immediately flush before the teammates can arrive.
Has a look across the side. There is one more. Alpaca is actually just taking shots just around the side. And then Gemty's going to try and cook that nade. It's going to bounce out. It may come straight back at him. I don't know whether it went around the side. It's going to bounce out. Youngtan also coming in. He gets a little angle on him. Gemty always pinned in the corner now. Youngtan is going to get the headshot down. Gemty finds one. Can't get the second. Alpaca in the end will manage to get him down. And of course, Gemty on his own will get flushed out. And that leaves Fuzzface, the last man standing for FaZe, with still 16 teams alive.
MVP because they also lost a second to Optic. Alpaca with that 1v1, able to get the revive. Now leaves them at least with 2. But real quick, you saw the circle on your screen. It's not too hard of a shift, but it does mean that Optic and MVP, as well as other teams on the west side, do still have to move. Knights here able to kind of get themselves up. I think that was perhaps a roadkill. And they got to move into the circle because they are the furthest west. C9, they are pinned into the corner next to the blue as well. That tangle up with OGN did slow down their own rotation. They got to go through a couple of different teams. Liquid here, though, they can just set up shop. They're in a split position. They got 2 players. They got Scooby and Beezer down here, 2 others to the north.
Bit of a problem. They've let 4 AM, though, come the other side of the road, and they're down the dip, right? So just a couple of nades. They're going to roll towards you. So you're going to make sure you're safe in there. Rafi, still solo, still going for it. Not afraid to take shots. They've got the points to back it up as well so far. Allergen getting himself... Well, he needs to get healed up. McCoy looks like he's going back on his feet forever. Does get down by Dees. We're going to say Dees.
Dees,
There's been a lot of talk about his name.
Diaz.
We did hear Keen talk saying Dies, but apparently it was a troll. So Diaz is where we're going with that one.
Yeah. High puck here. He is, I think, by himself trying to open up an opportunity for the rest of his team to rotate in. He's actually sending a lot of shots down onto Cloud9 as well as Avangar. So Cloud9, they did bomb in, find a shack for themselves, but they are pinned down.
Allergen down again. The rest of his team had backed away. McCoy is still there. It's Tempo Storm. North America on North America, Korea on Korea. There's all sorts of cross-continental battles, but these guys don't want any of it. Another smoke to go out and cover him off, but is it going to be enough to try and get up there and revive as Tempo Storm continue to push? They're on the full surround. Look at Dre coming in.
I don't know how Zampa got so separated, but he's going in the aggressive, gets the finish onto Allergen, wants to get McCoy. McCoy hides behind the smoke. Wants to pull a nade to stop Dre coming in, but pinned from 2 sides, and the teammates to the south not in a real position to help him out. McCoy is in a really rough spot.
Nade's raining down around him. He's actually going to go push it. He's going to push Dre. Dre with a nade in his hand will get flushed out as well. McCoy in the end will get dropped by Zampa on the flank around the side there. The rest of his team too far away to get involved in this one, so McCoy will go down. Zampa will finish that one off. So 2 kills for Tempo Storm there on Ghost, leaving them to 2. They're further south and are actually still trading shots with Tempo Storm. So drawing the fire.
It looks greedy when McCoy wanted to flush that kill onto Dre, but he knew that he was dead to rights anyway, still surrounded with Zampa on his left side. His teammates weren't unable to help him, and so he knew that his best opportunity was just grab those 7 kills for him before he died.
And it's something we should talk about because obviously points, it's a big deal. You think of Ghost qualification, it was what, 15 points around there? So just over 2 kills?
Yeah.
It's pretty big deal. I mean, you look at GLL, it was basically 1 on a 1v1 at the end. One single kill between Knights and M19.
Ghost's land win at PGL a couple of months ago was by less than a single kill.
Yeah, that was the, definitely. It was so tight. So these kills, while, you know, you see them obviously going down, they are securing it. We saw Gemty doing the same thing as well. He knew he was pretty much dead. He was in a 3v1 situation. He had all the vehicles pulling up. Speaking of pulling up, Vanguard have Optic pulling up on the ground below them, with Vanguard, of course, on the tip of Kumasera here. Optic, they were very much spread earlier on, but they have grouped nicely, and they have been picking up kills so far.
Yeah, it's a good job by Optic keeping everyone alive. If they're able to get into the late game with 4 up, we've seen them do a lot of work. It's usually just been the transitions that have been a struggle for them, and they, now that they're inside the circle, they get a little bit of help from the PUBG gods because it's another hard shift onto the left side.
Yeah, man, these are brutal shifts as well. So phase 2 was a hard shift down to the southeast corner. This time it's a hard shift to the west and kind of bounces back almost towards Kumasera. So suddenly Optic's position that they've just taken in this compound below is looking good. M19 plumb center.
So FaZe, in the meantime, go out. Oh, I'm stopped. There's a fight breaking out.
Yeah, this is 4 AM. Obviously, we saw Long going in there earlier on with Liquid nearby. There's only 2 members of Ghost, so this is a really tricky fight for them to take. 2 on 4 as they push up. They got a lot of damage down on God V out the back there. Balak's trying to light the nades up. If that lands, it could be big, but forever. We saw 4 AM how aggressive they can be at PGI when they're going into a fight with the nades. They go full force. Balak and Turtle here, I'm not sure this is a fight they want.
No, but it's a fight they need. They got to find a spot to hide into this circle, and they're able to get into the building onto the east side. and it seems to be a little isolated from the other buildings in this compound. And so 4 a.m. they're really going to need those nades if they don't want to run into a crossfire set up by the defending Ghost members in this building. Defensive nades are coming out. Balak does end up flashing himself. But it does stop 4 a.m. from pushing still. 4 a.m. they don't seem to be too confident going up against Ghost right now. They're fine just holding these angles.
And the problem is because the circle shrank so much, now they've got in the compound, they can't leave the compound, so they're going to get surrounded now because they're so worried about the third party. And how did he not find the head there? The door frame gods were not with him. God V does go down this time though. Turtle tries to get a peek around the side, can't manage to get it. He's going to vault out the back. This is nice aggressive stuff. Gets himself to 7 points secured for his team, and now 4 a.m. down to 3. The odds starting to look better.
They almost got a second player down as well, but ooh, MVP, their odds aren't looking great, driving just past Vitality. In fair number of shots, they are going to have to stop because their vehicle is taking too many hits, and Alpaca does go down from the other direction. WTSG just further down to their west. A lot of actually downs lining up this kill feed because tons of teams having to rotate in from the east are getting the wrong end of a barrel.
Yeah, Tempo Storm, who we saw earlier on, they're down to 1, it seems. Maluki is going to go down. It looks like BenQ's the last man standing who's just moved in while we watch Vitality pushing out. This is the northern edge of the circle. You can see in your bottom right-hand corner in the picture-in-picture the Ghost 4 a.m. battle still continuing while we see Youngtan basically pinned by Vitality and welcome to South Georgia. He's got nowhere to go, so most likely going to fall down. Teams that did drop down, we did notice, obviously, was FaZe Clan that went out very early on again. Of course, their split that just backfired horribly. Gen G in all sorts of trouble as Jeems takes down Loki. Gen G down to 3. Don't look like they're going to be able to get anything about that. They're still pushing in. They actually may get involved in this fight that's happening right here. They're probably going to come up behind Tempo Storm, who's just the other side of the road.
Yeah, this actually, Gen G could play spoiler for Ghosts if they want to stay on top of the roof, but Turtle does back down after tossing that nade. Trying to use these nades to deal chip damage to 4 a.m. Not exactly working, but it does still keep 4 a.m. pinned in. And after that first push where they lost 1 player.
OGN, remember Yak and Song Yang, the only 2 remaining. Looks like Song Yang's going to get pushed here. So Yak will be the last man. And he just took shots from Avangard on the top of Kumasera there, who are starting to work the way down the hill because they don't want to get caught out of the circle. The Shrink about to come in for Circle 5. Where will we go? We've had a couple of hard shifts. It goes to the hillside. M19 in their compound. They don't need to peek. They don't need to shoot. And you're damn right they won't shoot. They will just stay there until the circle forces them to move.
At this point, they have to know something.
They have a style, Cammy.
They have to know something because it's like that one scene from Breaking Bad. They can't keep getting away with this.
Well, they are so far. The Knights are moving in. Yannick and co. And welcome to South Georgia. Now, this is 2 4-man squads, along with Liquid, actually, who are just to the south of a picture. We can see them in the minimap here. All need to shift south, and now they're going to move. Larson's going to be the first to try and peek. He's going to get towards that little hillside. Not exactly blasting it in the Marauder there. He's trying to flank around. This is so ballsy. That's never going to work out. Optic, you can see in the distance, the 4 Optic signs. They are blasting him in the back, and yes, sure enough, Constantine! Of course, M19. You know, just as we call them out, they get involved.
Yeah, trying to prove us wrong, see if that kill gets stolen away or not. But nonetheless, WTSG, that flank that you mentioned, got stopped in his tracks, not just because of Vitality punishing that exit across that field, also Optic to the south, definitely playing a big role in that. Larson does eventually die.
Gen G on the move in the distance there. Liquid also pushing in. Where are they going to go? They're both looking for the same compound. I think they might crash into M19, you know. Liquid's going to blast around the side. There's Elite Player trying to basically keep them at base. Scoom does get knocked. Liquid actually going for the ditch. Tempo Storm, Pink, is on his own, but he's going to have full vision of them here.
Yeah, Liquid did lose 1 in that rotation, but taking that dip, it's not inside the circle, so they're going to have to eventually cross that road. But right now, it looks like they're a little distracted by the fight. Who's also distracted is Cloud9, stuck in their little shack. And for Ghost, well, Turtle tried the wraparound, did get taken out by Forever.
Balak got away. I don't know whether he's going to survive, though. He's actually just ran around south of the Knights. M19 peeking out of their shack. Get a good vision on Gen G. I think they thought their ditch was a little safer than it is.
Yeah.
Now they're getting pushed up. Welcome to South George. Come over the road. Now they get blasted in. Here comes 4 a.m. They're going to be looking. Ghost Balak, he thought he got away from them, but they're continuing to chase him down. They're going to crash straight in towards the Knights. Moody pushes over the road. Scoom gets down to Vitality, and Liquid try to push in on M19. No, by anybody can find themselves a spot right now. Knights on this hillside, they're going to be just on the edge. They're going to have great vision of everyone.
Oh, WTSG nades coming in. Challenger drop down to 5 HP. Simpson does get picked up, and oh, Samty's taking a lot of losses as well for Liquid. I think there's only one left, just Jeems trying to barrel somewhere.
Is he going to be able to get away? I think his vehicle's been picked off. Liquid will go down 12th place for them. It has been a brutal shift for everybody that was up in the north. It's very much open. We saw, what, 4 or 5 teams all trying to make this rotation. It's not worked for any of them so far.
Well, the top half of this map is a big, giant open field with one cliff overlooking it, and it's going to continue to swing west. Vitality, they have been able to wrap around clockways to the east side overlooking M19, but they have their sights on that compound. M19 do have to leave the majority of it, while Tempo Storm, and I believe also C9 just got completely eliminated. Optic putting a lot of work for the NA side, however. Doing some damage to WTSG.
That could be good. That could be a good nade. That one is going to drop straight in onto the top of them, right next to Miraku, right on his toe. Vard, the last man now. Remember, Gen G also possibly up for the underhand nade as Optic. They've been doing work so far. They were taking fights with FaZe early on. They took down, obviously, Moleman from Method. They were taking shots on MVP as they rotated. Now they get themselves another nade kill. That's Miraku going down. It's actually Gen G that stole away the final kill on Vard as well. So welcome to South George going out in 9th. As everybody else needs to make the move. The Knights, they need to move further north. They are caught out here. Yak, the sole man of OGN, he's got them pushing up on him. The problem is he's using the crate as cover, and everybody's going to draw their attention straight towards that crate.
Yeah, if M19 even looking his distance, they're going to spot him out. But Voxic, they're distracted by a fight with 4AM, taking the position that Ball grabbed, and nice shots from Forever is going to knock Voxic.
Vitality trying to blast in. Look at Jazza going. Yannick's got around the side now. They have managed to get into the compound, but it's still not in the circle. The circle pressing on their backs here. But what they've done is leapfrog ahead of M19. So they've been gate-kept. They've used the vehicle. 3 men in a vehicle. Very risky at this stage to get around the side of them and then creep in on the roadside. The Knights, they are not having a good time trying to push 4AM. They finally managed to get CPT down, and it does leave 4AM with 1 man standing. Optic, though, are absolutely picking people apart.
Yeah, when they have 4 men live in the late game, they really go aggressive, and they just completely wiped out Vanguard, pushing down south, trying to take over this top cliff.
They're going for Gen G as well. They're going to push around the side as Vitality try and find M19. Optic actually got to be careful because they're going to get surrounded. Gen G on the flank here. Hetra's in a perfect spot. If he just turns around, it's going to come up behind him. Hypoc does manage to finally switch himself around there. Hetra does get downed, and now, well, Optic had the high ground, but they've let themselves get surrounded. Bahawaka, this is a big fight between him and Cheerleader because this is going to leave them open if he doesn't come out on top. He's actually gone prone. Cheerleader's going to come straight over the top. Can't manage to catch him around the side there. Meanwhile, you can see the bottom M19 being pushed by Vitality. Bahawaka gets himself 1-2. Can they finish them off? Gen G in all sorts of trouble. They will get the flush in the end. And Optic up to 14 kills and counting.
An amazing flake by Bahawaka. M19, they're also getting pushed for Vitality, though. A lot of knocks down for them, and I think, well, for both sides, actually. The Elite player, an example, have been able to rotate up north, but that's still not in the circle. It's safety for now, but they're going to have to move into the next within a minute. A lot of shots on their direction as well, it sounds.
Would you believe that Yak is still alive? He's got himself into the top 5 now. Kramer and Texas completely between them. They're not going to be expecting him to be there at all because they've been involved in this fight with 4AM. It's lost 2 members. Now they can finally turn their attention to Optic, but with 3 men alive. The 2 northern teams with really no chance. Yak gets a big old blast on Kramer there. Was it Yak that shot him? It wasn't. It was Optic, right?
It's either Optic or Vitality. Not Yak, though. Yak is staying as silent as possible. If he knows that Texas is just north of him, he's going to have to wait for one of them to slip up before he can take this engagement. But Texas, his sight's still on Vitality as well, dealing damage to the tires to limit their rotation through. And once again, for them, they're going to have to run out in the open, across a field, across a road to get inside the circle. Well, Optic, though, they have a nice spread around this. They know that there are some people towards their east on top of the hill. Vitality making their own move. They do still have enough wheels attached to get to below this cliff, breaking a lot of the line of sight. About to take over where Gen G were holding previously before their push onto Optic. But Optic looking towards the east side. Yak is completely avoided. He may have been spotted, though. Peeking around the corner. Actually gets the headshots.
Takes him down. M19 just get taken out at the same time. So Knights in the end, 4th place for them. M19 in 5th, and OGN have got themselves into the top 3 when they've been down to 1 alive for a long time. Vitality, they're going to get pushed. Hypuck going over the side there. Should manage to find them. Bahawaka and Valiant, they've got probably, I think, about 17, 18 kills by now. It's a massive round from Optic. It's going to blast them right up the points. You can see them in 9th place. They had some big rounds in the group stage, but this is probably their biggest yet here in the finals as Yak finally starts to move in the circle.
Still has a nice level 3 helmet as well. And remember, we're looking at the points don't get added until they go out. And so Optic, they're currently in 9th, but even if they get 3rd right now, it's going to skyrocket them up.
I think they're going to be top. I think they're going to shoot right up the top.
Yeah.
It's going to put them up there. The amount of kills that they've picked up has definitely done work. Now, if only they had a nade. A single underhand nade would be the end of Vitality. But remember, they were engaged with so many nades on Welcome to South Georgia. I believe they're out right now. And they're well aware that there's somebody over the side, so they've got to be careful of the silhouette in, which is why we're seeing Hypot going around the side. Little peek, get themselves Monkey, tried to back away, sees the last man, gets the flush on towards him, looks down, does catch a glimpse of Jazza behind the burnt vehicle. No, can't quite see him.
Not exactly, but they don't need to overpush this. They know that Vitality need to move away from that little bowl and come to them. So there's no reason for them to go over-aggressive and potentially give a kill of their own away, especially because they should be certain that there is at least one more person, Yak, on the eastern side, and they don't want to overextend and tunnel vision onto one team when they know it's not just a 1v1.
This could be a 20-kill game for Optic. That is massive. 140 points just from kills alone. 225 to go on top of that for the chicken dinner if they were to find these two players. Of course, Jazza and Yak yet to find each other. You're looking at the positions. You've got to assume Bahawaka is going to find it. The circle, it's favorable to everybody involved. It's just going to keep them where they are. Everybody will hold position. It's Optic's choice now to go looking for kills. Bahawaka should find Jazza. He's going looking. He's looking down at all the burnt vehicles right now. We're not seeing it. We're watching Valiant. He's looking completely the other way. He's not really going to see anything over there. Trying to nade out the positions. Yak still keeping himself as quiet. He's tier 3'd up, Yak is, by the way. He's got good gear. Totally possible. We've seen some pretty crazy close finishes. I think a Moody, obviously, against Moleman just 2 games ago.
Circle's closing in now, and Jazza, because he's not moving, he's actually getting himself stuck in the bowl. He's just hoping that, in this case, the other solo does get taken out and he tries to go for a 2nd instead of a 3rd. But by staying here, by not flanking around into the angles that were, held by Optic, he is going to end up getting stuck. But the nade's coming out by Optic. Molly's going to try and flush people out of little corners that may or may not be there. But they are searching on the run. Bahawk and Hypok going around this corner. Yak! Landed a couple of initial good shots, but not enough damage, and he gets taken out. And so Vitality do get 2nd place. But now that the circle is going to shrink dead center on top of the cliff, Jazza, it's really not that many options for him right now. It's going to be difficult to scale that if he can at all, and he's going to be going right into the crosshairs of Optic.
2nd place, good for Vitality, no doubt about it. The story is all about Optic. They were taking fights from the start, and they're going to be finishing with 20-kill chicken dinner. A massive, massive game from Optic. No doubt about it. The green wall has arrived in Kiev.
A lot of kills. A lot of kills. And a lot of them were on transitioning teams, transitioning players. And I called out at the beginning, having all those